Hey, hey, hey! It's the Pacific Northwest Geek here, Echo Kuro. Now, before I talk about the topic of this video, if you hear a humming sound, that is my AC. It's been hot in my part of Washington as of late, and it's 9:30 at night as I record this, and it's like 86 degrees, so it's going to be a hot night. Anyways, a while back, I was talking with somebody on Twitter, and I had mentioned, about doing a thing about my top 10 favorite horror movies. Now the issue is that I could always tell you what my top 2 or 3 movies was. I never really sat down and thought about what is my top 10. So a lot of these are guesses, and was pretty hard to do because this heat is frying my brain. I'm lucky it hasn't melted out of my ears. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's get this rolling. At number 10 is the 1984 classic Night of the Comet, starring Catherine Mary Stewart, who was also in another classic from 1984, The Last Starfighter, a movie I have not seen in a long ass time. With her is Kelly Monahan. By the way, I might say some of these last names wrong, so please forgive me. But she was also in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, a movie I've only seen clips of, never seen all of, and Shopping Mall, a movie I finally got on Blu-ray, and Robert Bautron. Some people might remember him as Chakotay from Star Trek Voyager, but he also was in Eating Raoul. By the way, one of his co-stars was also in this. Now, this movie basically is about this comet's going to be passing Earth. And when it does, it either kills people, turns them into piles of ashes, or turns them into these weird mutant-type creatures. I think they like blood or whatever. And these two sisters, played by Kelly and Catherine, they were, I guess, because they were in like a shed or in a movie theater, they were protected. They find themselves similarly alone in New York, having to fight for the survivor, where they meet a truck driver played by Bautron, and find themselves fighting these creatures, as well as some kind of government think tank that things have gone wrong with them. Now, this movie is definitely an enjoyable. It's like a just complete masterpiece, in my opinion, of the early 1980s. I really enjoyed it. One that I hadn't seen it for a while, but then I found it on Blu-ray. I was just like, dude, I gotta get this. I absolutely love this movie. Now, there is a scene in the movie where the sisters, played by Stewart and Monahan, are supposed to be shooting. I guess they were supposed to be shooting Uzis or something, but they ended up with the Mac-10s. Problem was, the Mac-10s kept jamming, so they would have to stop and reshoot the scene. Stop so they can fix the gun, so they can go and film the scene. Leading to a line that during one of the times when they would jam, I guess they keep going. One of the sisters would utter a line.
See, this is the problem with these things. Daddy would have gotten us Uzis.
Now, this also is not the only time they would take a shot at the Mac-10, as later the older of the sisters, played by Catherine Mary Stewart, would say, "Come on, Hector," that's Bertrand's character, "come on, Hector, the Mac-10 submachine gun was practically designed for housewives." I guess they really did not like the Mac-10. At number 9, Maximum Overdrive. Based on the short story Trucks, that was written by Stephen King. Now, you can find it in the novel Night Shift, which, by the way, also featured other short stories that were also turned into movies, such as Graveyard Shift, The Mangler, Sometimes They Come Back, Lawnmower Man. By the way, the Lawnmower Man short story is a lot different than what you see in the movies. Of course, it was written back in the 70s, 80s, or 70s, so virtual reality probably really wasn't much of a thing. But it's also where Children of the Corn comes from, and this movie was released in 1986. Was AC/DC doing a lot of the soundtrack. Who Made Who was DT. It's pretty cool soundtrack. Just look for the ACDC album Who Made Who, and you'll basically get the soundtrack for this movie. It's pretty cool. On my old channel, I had a music video for it, but it kept getting flagged. Now, this stars Emilio Estevez, the younger brother of Charlie Sheen, who was also in Young Guns and Mighty Ducks, and Yardley Smith, who's best known as the voice of Lisa Simpson from The Simpsons. The story is kind of similar to Night of the Comet, is that a comet passes Earth, and it starts leading to the different like mechanical, electrical things coming alive, and some survivors are at a truck stop being terrorized by these big 18-wheelers. One of them, which I believe was a truck that was supposed to haul toys, has this really wicked green goblin head on it. I guess was recently restored a while back, and the guy who has it takes it on tours. It's pretty cool. This was actually not actually it's actually the first of two times the story Trucks was adopted for a movie. I did not like the second one, which is also kept the name of Trucks. Maximum Overdrive actually is it's a movie that I guess didn't do that good, but it's got a cult following and is very much so checking out. Now, at one time I heard they were shopping, trying to ship these two autobiography movies about Stephen King, and particularly during the time when King would have his addictions. And one of them was going to be a comedy, which was going to be based about the time Maximum Overdrive was being made, because guess who the director was? Stephen King. And apparently he was coked out of his mind the whole time. At number 8, Zombie, that's without an E, also known as Zombie 2 and Zombie Flesh Eaters. This movie was released in 1979, stars Teresa Fiera, sister of Mia Fiera, the ex-wife of Woody Allen, and Ian McCloud, who was also in a movie called Contamination. He's in some other stuff, but I can't really recall. This is the one that I only really recall him seeing him in. Basically, this movie was actually called Zombie 2 because in '78, Dawn of the Dead was released, and I guess in some places it was known as Zombie, again without an E. So this led to that being called Zombie, and this movie called Zombie 2. The gist of the story is a boat ends up in New York Harbor that has a zombie on it. It kills a police officer, and then the other police officer, Harbor Patrol, basically shoots the zombie and knocks him into the water. And the daughter of the owner of the boat basically wants to know what's going on with the father, and a reporter who's also curious about this. They track it down to an island, and after going to the island, they find that there is a zombie outbreak, and you get some good gore, including a scene where a woman is attacked by some zombies and slowly is pulled eyeball first into a chunk of wood, stabbing her in the eye. It's a pretty gruesome scene. This movie, by the way, was directed by Lucio Fulci, and probably is the first movie of his I went on to see. I own a copy of this on Blu-ray, as well as City of the Living Dead. Oh my god, dude! If you've never seen any of his movies, you so need to. I mean, it's just some awesome stuff. I'm currently wanting to collect his trilogy of horror. I have City of the Living Dead. I need House by the Cemetery, which itself is a scary movie. I have it on DVD, but I want it on Blu-ray, and The Beyond. This is a must-see for not just horror fans, but for zombie fans. This is pretty cool. At number 7 is the 1968 classic, Night of the Living Dead, starring Judith O'Dea and Dwayne Jones. Much like Zombie, this is a must-see movie for any horror fan, zombie or not. This black and white classic, which was helmed, the director was George Romero, this base, I mean, there were zombie movies before this, but this one completely just changed everything about the zombie movies. It's, basically all these zombies taking over the world. Um, will go on to lead to a series of other movies. This movie followed up was Dawn of the Dead, which is an awesome movie. Day of the Dead and Land of the Dead, and then what was it? Diary of the Dead and Survival of the Dead, which I believe is one of Romero's last movies. Although we will be getting another one. They're trying to ship around another movie, which will basically wrap this whole zombie storyline off. This movie also, where we get the line of they're coming to get you, Barbara, was remade a few times. The first remake is the only one worth seeing. It's also my favorite remake of all time. Bill Moseley takes over as playing the older brother of Barbara. The line of "They're coming to get you, Barbara," he changed to "They're coming to get you, Barbara. They're horny. They've been dead for so long." Dude, Moseley rocks. Again, this is a must-see. Alright, and one of the remakes, by the way, not only changes the character of Ben into a white guy, but makes him like a drug dealer. It's crap. At number 6, it's a 1983 classic, Sleepaway Camp. Now, this movie stars Felissa Rose and Robert Earl Jones. The Earl Jones might ring a bell to you. He is the father, apparently, of James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader. This movie went on to spawn 3 sequels, and oh my god, it's one of those summer camp movies that we saw in the 80s. Basically, we see there's a boat accident, and we're told that the son and the father died, and only the daughter lived, and she's now kind of like she's afraid of water, doesn't talk, she's completely shut off, and these killings start occurring at this camp. The ending, spoiler, the sister didn't survive, the son, the brother, the daughter, the son did, the brother did, and this kind of wacky, kind of zany aunt type character made them dress up like a girl, and you get a scene where they got this guy to basically, I guess he had the same height and similar build to Felissa Rose. He put on this mask they made based on Felissa Rose's face, and he stands up butt naked. By the way, apparently he also had to give him alcohol, and that's how you find out. Did not see that in coming. I mean, you kind of figured it'd be her, but you didn't see the incoming where it'd actually be a boy. The sequel would go on to change and say that he got a sex change and is now a post-op transsexual. Got a bug landed on my foot. Anyways, and the character would be his role would be played by Pamela Springsteen. Pamela Springsteen, the sister of Bruce Springsteen, and this is a cool movie we're seeing. I enjoyed the first sequel. The third sequel, no. Now, the fourth sequel, Return to Camp Sleepaway, they would basically kind of reveal that both kids lived, and that the brother did get the sex change, but the sister, guess she was there the whole time, still doing the killings. And Felissa Rose returning, and it just, I would love. There was an edition of this that was released. The apparently came in like this white case with a red cross on it, but the red cross, I guess, got upset, so it was too close to theirs, and a lawsuit was filed. I would love to get my hands on that edition. Anyways, there's a chance I might have to make this video a 2-parter because I got 5 more to go. In fact, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do, and I will cut off there as I go and start the second part of this. So I am Echo Kiro, and I will see you on the flip side and in part 2 of this video.